40 drivers ready to go, want to etch their name in history. As you see the pace vehicle pull off, William Sawalich, no stranger to starting on the front row. Lawless Allen on the outside front row for Venturini Motorsports. Great team here. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Daytona. LeVar Scott, Isabella Robusto just behind them. Teammates, nose to tail on the outside.
Yeah, no teammates on the front row. Even though they're both in Toyotas, they are on opposing teams.
Side by side and orderly so far as they exit turn 2.
You mentioned that qualifying was rained out, but they took the time that they were going to qualify and had a practice session. So all these drivers have had some track time this week.
You already see Isabella Robusto, those cow flaps on the hood of her car flapping up, which means she's getting close to that bubble of the rear bumper of her teammate out front, Lawless Allen. You'll see that over and over tonight as they start pushing on each other. Those cow flaps will go crazy.
Of course, Isabella is the second car on the outside right there. The number 55 Mobil 1 car.
Another teammate, Jake Finch, in the 25 car right behind Isabella. So Venturini cars were lined up on the outside line. Looks like they may have switched over now to the inside line.
And that organization already paying off for them, getting that lead, as you mentioned. The bottom broke up a lot there. We saw William Sawalich with not much help out back, and that forced that bottom lane to drop back with LeVar Scott behind him. Still see that gap. He's not able to close up to the rear bumper of William Sawalich to give him that push he needs.
It looked like Ryan Roulette there right in front of the leaders had trouble getting going, so they're going to have to maneuver around that lap car. Sometimes that can create some havoc.
You mentioned Jake Finch in the 25, just beautiful race here last year, just dominated to the very end, and it came down between him and his teammates, and there was no looking back. Gus Dean went ahead and won the race, so I think there's maybe a little redemption.
He led 141 of 160 possible laps between here and Talladega.
That's a hard couple races there to not get those wins.
Riding on board with a Bounty onboard camera for Isabella Robusto. Nice view there of what she's seeing and feeling.
It seems like everybody's pretty patient at this point. We talked about it at the beginning of the race, so they got to make it to the end. So we'll see the intensity ramp up at certain points in the race. But right now, most of our drivers are content to just kind of file in line. And we see him going around a slow car off the pace there on the bottom.
Ryan Roulette in the 67. I can't imagine he sees the pack coming. Just hold it straight, stay at the bottom.
Yes, to keep those left side tires right by that double yellow line and give these faster cars room.
Got one getting loose there. Off of turn 2, off turn 4 actually.
Now we've seen a lot of racing action down here already between the Cup cars. Last night we had the trucks on track, and now the ARCA cars. What is the difference? Are these, like, the trucks were all over the place last night?
Yeah, these cars I don't think will drive quite as poorly as the trucks do, but nonetheless, when you have all this traffic, and we had practice yesterday, as I mentioned, no more than about 6 cars in a draft at any one time. It's so much different with all these cars around you and all that disturbed air.
Well, and what the drivers do around you dictates a lot of that. So as we get to the end of the race, and as I mentioned, the intensity picks up, those gaps get tighter, you feel the air pressure inside the car actually change. You feel that RPM pick up, and your car moves around a lot more. Right now, we see that about a half a car length to a car length gap between every car.
Oh, sideways into the wall. Trying to get a number on that.
Cody Dennis in the 11, but a lot of cars involved. Sean Corr, the 8, left side of your screen.
Catherine Legg in the 23 was hard into that inside wall right there.
Elio spinning the bottom of your screen. Thad Moffitt.
Sean Corr.
So surprised to see that this early when we just mentioned how much they looked like they were giving good space, good gaps, and the 11 just took off, got loose off of turn 4 there.
I was just about to mention Thad Moffitt. He's full-time this year. And then Catherine Legg, such an accomplished racer. Open wheel, sports cars, her
this
first
has taken
ARCA
out
race.
a lot of really strong cars in this race. This will change the dynamic.
Is that Cleetus?
There's Elio Castroneves right there.
Maybe not a lot of damage to Elio's car. There's Big Willie Mullins' 3 car right there. Big Willie always runs well here. He had a runner-up finish here a few years ago.
We got a couple cars together right in the middle of the infield grass. Cars basically everywhere down the front stretch.
Yeah, Sean Corr has, there's Andy J. Look at all the damage to Andy J's car.
Well, he's going to try to make it down pit road and work on that car, see if he can continue.
Well, and that's important here, Jamie, with all the drivers that are out of the race. For those that are running for points, they're going to want to get these cars fixed up and limp them around to the finish of this race. But that's a long time to have to limp a car around Daytona.
Yeah, Thad Moffitt is one of those cars that is running full time.
All right, gentlemen, let's take a look at what happened here. What led to this?
Yeah,
Let's watch that 11 car. That's the first car that I saw sideways. He's right there, middle of your screen, behind Jake Finch in the 25.
Yeah, he just gets that little bit of run and tries to correct. He gets a little low, which that air on the left front fender got the car free. He corrected, and once he went up the track, that gap gets closed so fast.
And then hardly just anywhere for him to go. So many cars involved. What? There's Elio, right side of your screen, that blue number 82. He's going to get a piece of this. That's Dale Quarterly, the 4 car right there, sandwiching Andy J.
So many race cars taken out on lap number 5.
See Tim Richmond going down pit road doing a nice job avoiding this.
And you had just asked, Jamie, how different these cars are than trucks and Xfinity and Cup cars. No matter what you're driving, that transition, which is right where he hit, we go from 31 degrees down to 18 degrees almost instantly, and the car gets really light. So you have to be on guard, even when you're just riding. Sometimes the air hits the car just right, and it will step out like that.
We saw the same thing in the trucks last night. We saw single truck incidents coming off at turn 4, just got loose all by themselves. Just riding on board, another look at it.
I think this is Catherine Leggs on board.
Yeah, just almost got through it.
Yeah, significant contact with the inside safer barrier.
And
she's watching what happened. So frustrating.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, I talked to her yesterday. She was so excited. She did such a fine job this week too in her practice session yesterday. The Michael Maples.
Remember that lottery ticket that said being in the right place at the right time, a little bit of luck? That's where it went wrong for a lot of these drivers here. Wrong place, the wrong time, nothing they could do about it.
Right now you want to be up front. You would have avoided all of this calamity. 5 laps in here at Daytona. The cleanup continues, and we'll be back. ARCA Racing on Fox is brought to you by General Tire. #GT delivers. and by Reese's. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry. And we welcome you back to Daytona. Well, I know there was a lot of calamity, a lot of wrecked cars, but how about this Reese's sweet move of the race? It's our first nominee of the day.
Yeah, and this is actually the lap before the incident. That's Dale Quarterly in the 4 car. Watch him get loose here. He gets kind of jammed up a little bit, probably has to get on the brakes a little bit, but does a nice job holding onto that car.
Yeah, that's the exact same spot we saw the 11 go around just a lap later. And it's so easy, Jamie. You get fixated on the bumper in front of you, and you're not really looking around. And when they wiggle a little bit, you wiggle a lot. So you always got to be looking out front, looking ahead.
Visit ARCARacing.com on Monday at 3 Eastern to see who is crowned the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. We are under a red flag right now for the incident involving 15 race cars right here, all over the place. Cleanup continues after this. Tonight on Fox Primetime Hoops, 2 of the Big Ten's best go head-to-head as 11th ranked Michigan State takes on Illinois. That's at 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox. Well, our red flag continues here for what was the biggest wreck in ARCA since 2008. There is the list. We mentioned about 15 cars involved. There's Andy Jankowiak with a lot of damage, left and right side of that race car.
It's almost half our field, Jamie. We were talking about this 40-car field that we have at Daytona, and just like that, it's whittled down pretty fast.
Caitlin, what are you hearing on Andy J?
Yeah, I've been listening to their radio. Obviously, they went into this race with a lot of optimism, but early misfortune for this team. Mike Dayton was giving very diligent commands on which mechanics would be repairing which parts of the car. They got a pretty good crash repair plan in place just moments ago, but they said, work on that left front first. It seems worse than the right front. That nose is also pushed in pretty good, so you can see now the team going to work, seeing what they can do here for that 73. Jamie?
Thank you, Caitlin. Yes, they have lifted the red flag. The caution is out, so that means teams are allowed to go over the wall and work on the cars. Elio Castroneves, one of those involved. His car doesn't look too bad.
You see a little damage to the front valence there, but I think he's going to be fine to continue. He's going to come down to pit road now to the Pinnacle Group.
I have finished top 5 with cars that look a lot worse than that at Daytona. How about you, Phil?
Without a doubt.
You get in line, you get behind somebody. Now, he'll know, hey, I can't lead the lane now, right? I've got a lot of damage on the front. I'm going to have more drag. Andy J even. If they can stay tucked in and be in that draft, they can still have a really good day. So if these teams can stay on it, keep the morale up, keep the motivation high, get the cars fixed back out, they got a chance of running well.
We've walked through the garage after a race at Daytona. It looked like a race after Martinsville. Both sides of the cars beat up.
Do whatever it takes to stay out there. So Elio, he just wants to get every lap in because he hasn't had much track time. He's racing in the Great American Race tomorrow. This is Elio's week so far. This was his dual race. Watch this.
Yeah, victim of circumstances here. Nowhere to go.
Wendy did not want that front row seat.
And that was that second hit was a hard hit.
And again, this was literally his second day ever in a stock car. Welcome to NASCAR, right? Kevin Harvick just on the broadcast, he said that is one of the hardest hits. These cars just, you absorb all that energy. So I interviewed him afterwards, and he was still smiling.
Elio said, I didn't sign up for this, guys. What are we doing here?
I think he did. I think he's probably just going to go through the grass, which is what's going to tear up that valence. So I think he did an awesome job missing that wreck, because you saw everybody peeling off the back towards the inside wall, and he missed them.
And probably would have been totally fine without the rain that we had right before the race.
So Elio's getting the full experience as they continue to work on his car. We're going to step aside, and we'll drop the green flag once again for the ARCA Menards Series after this. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Jamie Little, Trevor Bain, Phil Parsons with you. Trying to get things going here in the ARCA Menards Series. We had the big one on lap number 5, about 15 cars involved. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, the blue 11 car of Cody Dennison gets loose. You see him right in between Jake Finch and Andy J. And then chaos breaks loose, and they completely block the racetrack. Nice job by Corey D. He has a little bit of damage, but watch Jason Kitzmiller right along the double yellow line, that gray car. He's really the first one that got through there unscathed.
Well, you guys mentioned Cody Dennison, and the 11 was kind of at the forefront of all of this. Let's hear from him at the Care Center now. He's with Caitlin.
And released. Cody, I know you were just watching the replay. What did you see there from your seat?
Well, basically, when I was coming out of 4, the car got weightless, and I've never really felt anything like that. It's like the wheel went free, and as soon as the weight shifted back or the weight went back under it, it just went right into the wall. I didn't have any steering input at all. It was a very strange feeling, so I'm just glad everybody's all right, because that was a wild ride. It really was. It was kind of fun, you know. It's kind of fun going through the infield and just, you know, not touching anything. It was like a roller coaster, but I hate it for everybody because I know a lot of people spend money on it, and, you know, so do I, and it just didn't work out, and, you know, I didn't really know what to do in that situation. I've never felt a weightless feeling, so I just hate it for my boy Caleb and a bunch of other people. So yeah, you can see it right here. Like, it just gets weightless right there and just turns. And as soon as the weight shifts, like the balance of the car shifted, it just went right. So just hate it for everybody. I really do.
Thank you for your time. We're glad you're okay. Jamie?
Caitlin, I think it's safe to say he's riding a wave of emotions, like heartbreak, emotion. It was fun.
Cody, my man, go get your head checked out again. We need to make sure you're all right there after that one, calling it fun riding through the infield sideways. So I don't know if I'd call that one fun. But he's right. The cars get weightless. We were talking about that. These young drivers are inexperienced drivers at speedways. They feel like they're just cruising, right? We're in line. Everything's calm. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the car comes off that banking, and it just settles a little bit funny. And it can catch the best drivers in the world off guard. Even a Cup driver, you know, can have that happen.
And he's one of the 12 drivers making his first ever start here at Daytona too. So not a lot of experience to bank on.
Well, Catherine Legg, one of the women in the field that we talked about, she was involved, and moments ago she talked to Caitlin.
Thank you. Well, Catherine Legg has been checked and released from the Infield Care Center. First off, are you okay? And what happened from your vantage point?
Yeah, I'm fine, and honestly, I need to see the replay. I just got tagged in the right rear, tried to make it down pit road, and then I got hit again, so not much you can do. I had a really great car, thanks to the SPS guys, because the car was fast, and we were just trying to survive and hang out until the last 20 laps, but that plan didn't go according to what we were trying to do.
I know it was an early exit for you from the race, but this isn't your first foray into NASCAR. How enjoyable was the experience until it was cut short?
Man, I was having so much fun up until then. You know, the team were awesome. I had a really fast car. And yeah, I had a smile on my face. You know, it's like a renewed sense of vigor coming into racing after having done it for so long. I'm really looking forward to my stock car debut here. And unfortunately, that happened. So I'm just gutted. I just really wanted a decent shot at it.
Thank you for your time. We're glad you're okay, guys.
And it's so hard for someone like her. She worked so hard to bring in sponsorship, put this deal together for one race, and all this buildup over the offseason, and it ends like that.
That's right. I mean, months of looking forward to this race. It's not a mid-season race. We've had all of offseason to think about what could be, and she did everything right. She had the heads up enough to say, hey, I'm going to hit pit road, which is exactly what she should have done, try to get down out of it, and then just chaos broke loose.
All right, it's about that time. Finally, the cleanup is complete. Lawless Allen, Isabella Robusto, side by side. Green flag is back in the air.
I thought maybe that Isabella would allow Lawless Allen to jump down in front of her teammate. Dipsy-do, I think Joey Logano calls it, or whatever.
They did a little dipsy-do in the
tagline?
test and then in practice, so they got comfortable working with each other.
Cole Raz, the 76, is leading that outside line. Another one of the newbies here at Daytona.
Yeah, and you always wonder after a big crash like that how much everybody realizes we got to chill. We got to make it to the end of this thing, or we just going to ride now for a little while.
We don't do a whole lot of riding here, I don't think, Trevor.
See the 18 there? That's William Sawalich. So he's driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. They only have one entry. So they kind of hook up with whoever is fast, but they have such a competition with Venturini Motorsports. You don't always see them run together, but right now I think you run with who's fast.
But they still have that same emblem on the front grille of the race car, that Toyota emblem, you know, and I know manufacturers try not to get too involved in that, but as a driver, you know, hey, if I've got a chance to push a Chevrolet or a Ford or a Toyota, I'm going to push the one that's matching mine.
See these cars bouncing around a little bit. Airplane's not bouncing a lot, it's just floating.
No, but it's bringing in some precious cargo, I believe, right?
Sure is. President Trump will be here for the Great American Race on Sunday.
Look at Sawallich, thought for a moment about going up through the middle, then thought better of it. Cole Raz, that 76 car, is doing a nice job keeping that outside line in touch. He has Brendan Butterbean McQueen, the 28 car, right behind him. Butterbean's going to be full-time this year.
The nicknames in ARCA.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he comes from the Cars Tour. He's
a champion last year.
He's a champion last year. He ran a couple truck races last year. And
with
what
Nice
a following.
Motorsports, yeah.
Yes, he had a great following. He's out there. They said, we just keep signing autographs. Shane Huffman, his crew chief's like, we can't keep enough in stock. So Butterbean is in the field and will be here all season long. There he is right there in the 28. And Phil, Trevor, we talked about it a lot last year. This car was fast everywhere. They had a star car essentially, and they went to victory lane quite a few times.
Yeah, that 82 of Castro Neves, by the way, is back on the racetrack, running up in the top 16 right now. So good news for Helio Castro Neves. That's a teammate to Butterbean. Oh, no!
Oh, no, same thing.
Sideways, coming off 4, same spot, hard into that inside wall once again. 4 cars involved. Looks like one will escape.
Yeah, that was a 70 of Amber Balkan. I don't know if she touched the apron and then shot her car up the racetrack.
You know, this track's got a lot of age on it now. It's 14 years that we've had this paving here, and it's starting to wear enough that handling is becoming an issue. In the Cup duels, we saw lane 3 come in, which we never see in a duel. Here, we've got Cleetus McFarland with damage.
Yeah, Cleetus and his teammate Kyle Steckley in the 29 also involved in this accident.
Of course, they're running together back there. Cleetus making his ARCA debut. Guess he's a superstar on YouTube, like 4 million followers.
Yeah, he gets to have all the fun. Normally he's in a banged up, you know, Crown Vic or something. This is a little bit different race car for him.
I don't think it'll refire. I think he's trying to refire it and it won't do it.
That's unfortunate. I saw him up on the spotter stand for the duels on Thursday night, trying to study and watching with the spotters, looking for those runs and how to take advantage of them.
He's trying to recycle
He's asking for
it.
that push to the pit stall.
So many, you know, we talk about this. There's Amber Balkan's car again. This is where that incident started. Coming off turn 4. Let's see, Trevor, if she bounced off the apron or just got away from her. That's her, the white and red number 70, about 7th in line.
Yep. You saw that thing start to bounce up and down as soon as the left front touched the yellow line, and once it popped up a little bit, you get air under the car and lose front steering a little bit.
That yellow car going through the bottom of your screen right now, AJ Moyer did a great job of avoiding that.
That could be a Reese's Sweet move right there. So close.
There it is. There, Cleetus had absolutely nowhere to go, as well as Kyle Steckley. There's the yellow car of AJ Moyer going through the middle.
You guys mentioned the floating sensation. It looked like she once again was a victim of that. Car just got floaty.
Going to ride along with Cleetus here. Looked like he just got caught in the left rear quarter panel. Had no idea that was coming. I don't think there's a lot of damage to that car, but again, it wouldn't refire.
Got that left front damage.
Hey, we know that guy.
Yeah.
Is that Owen?
Larson?
Is that Owen?
That's Owen Larson.
Oh, that's why I thought you were talking about Owen.
Well, and Kyle, we know, is a big fan of Corey Day and helping him get his start here in NASCAR, running in the 14th position right now.
Running for Spire Motorsports in the 77. I figured he'd come out, want to watch a little action, see how Corey could do. Well, we're under caution for the second time here at Daytona. Work continues. Welcome back to Daytona as you get a nice look at the infield grass, and it's been a busy place today. Unfortunately, a lot of trimming of the grass with these cars. 2 wrecks We're under caution for the second time. That incident involving 3 cars and one that avoided it. I mentioned AJ Moyer, Phil. We talked about what a great job he did. So he's one of our Reese's Sweet Move of the Race nominees.
We're going to see him come into view here. That's him right there in that yellow car. And watch the job. That's Kyle Steckley that gets involved, makes hard contact. Moyer avoids Steckley, avoids Cleetus, and straightens it back out.
How many years of his life do you think he saw in that flash there that happened?
About 6.
At least 6
About 6,
years.
yeah.
No doubt. Well, visit ARCARacing.com on Monday at 3 Eastern to see who is crowned the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. So we're only 15 laps in, and we already have 2 of our 3 nominees.
Yeah.
Well, Lawless Allen has done a great job. He's led all 15 laps so far. Amanda, what's his crew chief thinking?
I think there's some sweet moves there too, Jamie, leading every lap of this race. And Kevin Reed Jr. is on the call with Lawless Allen today. And I talked to him prior to the race, and he was just so excited about being full-time with Venturini this season. I've heard you talk through Lawless through a couple of these starts to the race. What do you make of his composure so far?
So far, Lawless has been flawless, Allen, so far. His truck experience has really shown out. He has not gotten flustered. He knows the deal. He knows how to work the air. Tony Rain's doing a great job keeping us out of trouble. And this auto park at Toyota Camry has been really fast so far. So far, we've had nothing to worry about working with our teammate in the 55, and we're going to continue that path.
I heard you tell Lawless that when it comes to the teammate plan, you live and die together. How do we expect that to unfold as the race continues?
I think as long as Isabel and Lawless work together, we're a pretty two's better than one always here. And we brought our friends with us, and we got the 25 still sitting right there pretty close. So he's a backup plan, and we're all just going to work together, stick together, and go win this race.
Thank you, Kevin. Bold statement there, Jamie.
Hey, I like what Kevin said. He said, it's not Lawless, it's flawless, Allen. He wants to stay there till the end. Well, Elio Castroneves, he had damage in that first, the big one we're calling it. They fixed him up a little bit. Let's hear from him.
Hey, Elio, it's Phil Parsons in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Well, buddy, you did a great job avoiding that incident. Obviously had a little bit of damage to the grass, but what did you think when you came off turn 4 and the track was completely blocked?
I was like, man, Cole Brown here. I was going to be in trouble, but I tried to just stay away from these guys, make sure I don't damage the car, like the second one too. So I'm avoiding more of the crashes here than trying to learn about racing. But so far it's been good. Car's good. So let's keep it rolling.
All right, looks like Shane Huffman has you fixed up, buddy. Go get him.
Thanks, my friend.
Hey, he's a heck of a race car driver, but you know what else he can do? He can dance. He just danced his way through that. Hey, if you're a Dancing with the Stars fan, he won it back in 2007.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, and he said, I'm trying to learn more about avoiding crashes than racing here. Daytona, a lot of times, is avoiding the crashes and making it to the end, as we've talked about. So great job by him on that. I'm sure he'll have a lot more of those moments on Sunday at some point. So that's good experience. I know it's not the kind of experience he was maybe looking for, but getting through that, not locking up the brakes, making the right move, it's very important.
Well, his damage was so bad in the dual race, he couldn't finish, so he didn't get a lot of time. So he's making up for that. His team was able to fix him up in the areas he needed, and he's learning with every lap.
It's amazing. I saw some video while we were watching Cup practice and the repair that they were doing to that car. I mean, the old car, not the next gen car, they would just thrown that car in a basket. I mean, they cut the front clip off, and it's amazing the damage repair that they can do now.
They did it so quickly. They only got to come in 2 hours before the garage opened, and that car was going through tech by the end of the day. So Lawless Allen is on the outside in the 20. Isabella Robusto, his teammate, on the inside.
It's been relatively calm right at the very front.
Don't say it, Phil.
Yeah, I know.
Don't jinx them. So we have 80 laps for this race. We will have a scheduled caution at or around lap 40. Green flag is in the air again. Great restart once again for Lawless Allen as he drops down right in front of his teammate. Those two want to hook up. We just heard from Lawless's crew chief. That is the plan. Stick together.
You see that silver car on the outside, third in line. That's Jason Kitzmiller. His crew chief is Frank Kimmel, who knows a little bit about winning ARCA races and championships, 80 of them, 80 wins and 10 championships. I was sitting with him the other day, and I said, we've had 81 ARCA wins sitting right here.
80 are there.
Well, we got a whole two
we got
wins
two
in the
up
booth
here.
today.
We have
you
two
know?
up here, exactly.
Hey, you're winners. That's all that matters.
I think if I'm on that outside lane right now, I'm going to give a lot of room to those cars underneath me coming off of turn 4 at least.
Really impressed with Butterbean. Brendan Queen in the 28. He's on the outside. ARCA debut here. Ran a couple of truck races, but this is a new world to him, and he's hanging tough up there.
Remember, his debut was at Wilkesboro, and he had a top 5 finish in the trucks last year, so he's certainly an accomplished racer.
To me, it's always wild how different the perspective of a race is. If you're leading the race at Daytona, it's one of the easiest things in the world when you're single file. You're just cruising around, leading the line.
Oh, no.
Another
wreck. Amber Balkan
again.
Caution is out for the 3rd time.
Cleetus McFarland
Cleetus
got
is
big damage this time.
Some
My
big
goodness.
hits right there. Look at the back of that 70 of Amber Balkan. There's a 0-2 of Craig Bracken.
Gosh, hard to even see the number on Craig's car.
So the point I was just making is when you're in the front, it is just smooth sailing. When you're in mid-pack or to the back, it feels like you're at war. You know, there's just stuff flying everywhere. And we see the carnage here on the track now.
Well, Cleetus couldn't get it refired, but he avoided chaos in that last caution, and now it looks like he is going to be done. You see the 86 back there, Becca Monopoly.
Yeah, Cleetus's bunch, Mark Rett and his team got him back out. He was only 1 lap down. We only have 3 or 4 cars 1 lap down, so there would have been a good chance for him to get the free pass and get back on the lead lap. But big hit there, too, for Craig Bracken. Craig Bracken actually works for Technique, which builds the next-gen Cup cars.
I saw Takuma Koga in the 12 car from Nyoga, Japan.
See, Craig has taken his helmet off.
That was a big hit. Look at the damage on the front end of that race car.
That's another thing, Trevor. We talk about all these short track racers from all over the country getting their opportunity to race here. And obviously you can have some big hits on short tracks on a quarter-mile racetrack, but when you hit something at 170 or 80 miles an hour, it's jarring. There's Becca right there. Good to see her out of her car. She's won 20 championships running trucks in and around Florida.
That left front took a big hit.
These
that
smaller
tire
teams,
folded up underneath.
It's a lot for them. They can't just bounce back so easily after hits like this.
See Craig climbing out of the car just
That's a good
before the
sign.
ambulance pulled in behind it.
Well, that was a good sign to see him getting out of that race car.
This is going to be towards the back of the pack, I believe. You see, there's Amber. She makes contact with another car. And then, man, hard. That was Cleetus that came along with nowhere to go. And Cleetus slid up into the outs. Ooh, what a hard hit.
Yeah, so Amber, I mean, she was hit 3 or 4 times there.
Tough break for Amber. We know that right now this is her only scheduled race.
There's Craig Brackett hanging the inside safer barrier. And then another hit.
Those second and third impacts are the ones that get you. The first one you kind of see coming.
And you're stunned.
And another one right there.
Wow.
Gosh.
That was 3 hard hits in that incident for Craig Bracken.
Yeah.
Look at it at real speed here.
Saw Amber get free, spin up the racetrack. Just nowhere to go.
Ooh. You could hear that car hitting the inside wall from this camera.
On board with Cleetus.
I'm not sure what
right in
happened.
front of him.
Oh, wow. I'm not sure what happened to Amber to cause her to turn left like that.
It almost looked like contact with the car that was down below her, and then it upset the car.
So they'll get those wrecked race cars off. They'll tend to the drivers.
A lot of debris to pick up as well.
As soon as we get, not sure what he said there, but he knows that the camera is on. Talking to all of his subscribers or those that want to subscribe to his YouTube channel. Well, the last incident involved a couple of teammates. Kyle Steckley, one of them. He was just checked and released. Caitlin.
Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, Kyle here. We've been looking at the replays, obviously, from the third caution. But when you think back to the incident you were involved in, what do you think happened there?
Yeah, Amber just got on the apron at a 4 there and shot up the track and made contact with another car and then shot back down. So I guess just wrong place at the wrong time and try to get down there and avoid them. But yeah, looking at it now, he got it into a teammate and then I dove down and just nowhere to go and spun into the inside wall. So hate it for all the Rhett Jones Racing guys, the whole Jones family for getting me here, as well as APC Auto Parts Centers, Pennzoil, and everyone who helped out. So was really excited to be here. Unfortunately, it ended short, but hopefully we can be back for more races in the future.
Thank you. Early exit for Kyle Steckley. Jamie?
Yeah, and that was his teammate Cleetus McFarland involved in that incident. Cleetus got back out, but now his day is finished. ARCA Racing on Fox is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And by Bounty. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. As you see, cleanup is ongoing here at Daytona International Speedway. The good news is the sun is out. Great weather. The bad news is, well, we've had 20 of our 40 cars involved in an accident before lap 20. Keep in mind, gentlemen, we have 80 laps in this race.
William Sawalich picked up some debris, it looks like, here on his left front. I don't know if they'll have to pick.
Looks like a bumper bar or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, splitter or something has come out of somebody's car and gone right through the splitter of that race car as well.
He's coming down pit road now.
They'll have to come remove that. NASCAR will black flag them if not.
I think it's fortunate that it went through that part of the nose.
And not the radiator.
Not the radiator.
Exactly.
That would have been just about race ending.
Wow. We mentioned how much debris was on that backstretch that they were going to have to clean up. And
that'd be
he's doing his part.
He wasn't planning on being part of that cleanup, was he?
That was interesting.
Good news is a little tape will patch that up and no real damage to that car.
They're allowed to top them off with fuel. Any caution flag is an opportunity for these cars to pit and change tires and fuel if they so desire.
So William Sawalich, certainly one that we talk about anytime he is in the field. And today he is our Sioux Chief fast track driver, 18 years old, out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. A two-time ARCA Menards East champion. We have the East, the West, and the National Series. This is considered one of the national races. 13 ARCA wins, and guys, he graduated this year. Full-time Xfinity Series racer.
He won 9 out of 14 starts in the ARCA Menards Series last year.
And the crazy thing is, even with those 9 wins, it was still a nail-biting finish to that championship.
Absolutely.
With Connor Zilic, they were going back and forth, and we honestly thought it was Connor's championship to lose, and it was. And at the end, Connor had that incident with a lap vehicle, destroyed his race car, and William went on to win the championship. So great job by him. Crazy thing is, he wasn't even old enough to race this race last year at Daytona in the ARCA Series, but now he's run the truck race last night, and he'll run the Xfinity race later today. So getting his full fill of Daytona this weekend.
And a good top 10 finish last night also.
That's right.
He's about as busy as Helio Castroneves. That's where you want to be when you're in Daytona, right? You want to be behind the wheel.
On the racetrack.
Every lap possible. So William Sawalich, they got that bumper bar pulled out, patched up. He's back on track.
We've thinned the field out quite a bit, though, haven't we?
We certainly have.
I really thought after the first incident we'd see people kind of calm down. And
got about 25 cars on track is what I'm seeing out of 40. Restart once again. Lawless Allen doing what he's had to do all day here. Great restart. Isabella Robusto, Jake Finch, LeVar Scott, the top 4.
Jake Finch has a good pusher behind him now, and Butterbean Queen in that 28 car, black and red car. Jason Kitts.
Got another wreck.
Didn't even take the green.
Caution out. Once again, Brayton Laster in the 0.
Brayton was one of the cars that was still on the lead lap. I think he didn't have any damage prior to this, but.
And because of the points and the way that they set the lineup today, he made it in the field, and he was in tears that they made it.
That's a significant amount of damage to not be all the way up to speed yet. I haven't seen the replay of what happened here yet. I wasn't looking at that area of the track.
They call him the pizza man. He loves pizza, and his helmet usually has pepperoni all over it. It looks like it is, yeah.
The pizza man, he likes to eat it. Andy J likes to deliver it. So those two can
get together, maybe.
I think they might have already got together from somewhere here.
There's chances high.
Yeah, right.
See the window net down. That's a good sign. We just can't get any rhythm going here with this race.
These safety crews have been busy today. Actually, all week.
Their steps are going high on their watches there.
All right, let's see what happened here. Brayton Laster.
Remember, they just took the green. Oh, looked like the rear end. Something happened there.
I don't think there was a bump from behind.
No.
It didn't look like.
Like a tire, rear end housing, something. Axle maybe broke, something that caused that car to shoot to the right.
Lost traction, forward traction.
That didn't seem to be like an area that had a lot of load on the car, and they had already accelerated to the restart zone. So by the time you get to turn 1, the car's pretty stable there. Had to be a mechanical failure, I would think.
Not more than 140 or 50 miles an hour, I wouldn't think. Not near up to full speed yet.
And the way it took off to the right, that's not normally something we see on your own. I wonder what these drivers are thinking about riding around under all these caution laps, Phil.
Yeah. You see Sawalich was turning his car off, saving fuel. There was a lot of talk in the garage area. Obviously, we're going to have a mid-race break on or around lap number 40 that will give everyone an opportunity to make a pit stop. But a lot of people talked about pitting prior to that to get track position. Although now with so few good cars left, I'm not sure how important that is.
Well, I talked to Isabella this morning, and she said, hey, if you guys want to dial me up in race, I'm good with it. So she's been doing a great job. She's in second right now. So maybe we'll.
Want to try?
Yeah, let's dial
Trevor,
her
why
up.
don't you talk to
I've
her?
never pushed the button on this thing. You think it'll work for me? We'll try it out. Give her a try here. Isabella, this is Trevor Bain up in the Fox booth. You got a copy on me?
Yep, I got you.
All right, for a lot of these drivers, this has been a chaotic race, but you've had pretty smooth sailing up there, logging laps in second under caution. How's it going for you?
I think it's going pretty good. I've learned a lot, definitely running the different lanes there, but the plan's going right now. We've kept the car clean. We're still up front, so we still have a chance to win this thing. So just going to keep doing what I've been doing, paint that yellow line, and just be there at the end.
Well, nice job so far. Your car looks great, still in like half the field, so hope it works out well for you. Thanks for taking some time for us.
Thank you.
Look how compact she is in there. Her knees are practically on the dash. You drivers, you all have your different styles.
Unbelievable how different these cars can be for each driver. Even like the shifter handle, you see there, she's got that straight shifter. A lot of components can be switched out for each driver as to what they need.
It's a good view, though, of the head containment system right here that NASCAR requires now, and ARCA. Nice carbon fiber seat, it looks like. It's amazing the technology that has improved over the last 20 years.
NASCAR has definitely led the way in safety for motorsports, from the Hans device being invented a few, in 2010, 11 range, or I guess it had been 2002, right? Is that about the time, Phil, that you would have run your first Hans? And then we obviously, the safer barrier, we saw at the Hall of Fame induction a couple weeks ago, honoring people that help. Yeah, that's right. Helping design and develop that safer barrier. We've tested it out a lot today. But the safety in NASCAR is just incredible.
Yeah, and one driver in particular that put it to the test today was Amber Balkin, involved in that third caution. She's just been checked and released, and she's with Caitlin.
Thank you. Yeah, Amber here with me. And first off, are you okay? And have you had a chance to digest what happened?
Yeah, I'm okay. It was a hard hit, though. after we went green, I saw smoke coming from my right side. I figured I might have had a tire rub, and going down the front stretch, going into one, I got on the radio and said, guys, I told them before we're smoking, I said, guys, we got a right rear going down. And before I could pull in and get into the pits, it blew and obviously hit the wall and caused unfortunate wreck for other people, which I hate that. I know everyone works super hard to get here, but I want to thank my sponsors, Icon Direct and Ask Amber Gambit, for bringing us here. It just sucks. That was a crazy race. Unfortunate we couldn't get a pit road to get that tire rub fixed sooner.
Glad you're okay. Disappointing end for the day there for Amber Balkan. Jamie?
Thank you, Caitlin. And we have quite a few cars on pit road. Let's check in with Amanda.
And Jamie, I'll let you go through what these pit stop means for these teams, but effectively there's no competitive advantage on pit stops here in this ARCA series today. Drivers will come in and leave in the same spot, minus the cars that stayed out on track, but everyone's eyes was on this guy right here who had led every lap up into this, Lawless Alan. I know LeVar Scott was going to pop in as well, but Wallace told me ahead of this race that Daytona is the place. I've been thinking about this race since Phoenix. He said that this race right here will set the entire tone for the rest of his full-time season.
Absolutely, it will. You see a lot of adjustments going on down there, handling coming into play. You guys, we've had less than 8 minutes of green flag racing. It's got to be so frustrating for the drivers up front.
It really is, and obviously I think this is an opportunity, as we talked about. We know we're going to have a mid-race break, but I think these crews now are taking an opportunity to come now, and they probably will say, if we get enough caution laps later in the race, we may not come back to pit road. So I think that's why everyone pretty much followed our leader down pit road. But Lawless Alan is going to be a contender for this championship this year, full-time. He had a full solid season last year in the Truck Series, and there's a lot of horsepower right there, Trevor.
Have you ridden with the Thunderbird, Bill?
I have.
You have, so you know.
9.2 Gs. Didn't pass out, but I came darn near close.
The window blacks out, right?
Yes.
It closes in. I went through the same thing, Jamie, and honestly, I had never been motion sick, like maybe a little car sick. Flew with those guys, and now it's hard for me to get on a roller coaster. My body's like, hey, we don't like this anymore. That's too much.
I love it. These guys are down here. They're practicing all week because they will do the most incredible flyover
straight up.
on Sunday.
Did you do it here in Daytona, Jamie?
No, I did it at Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas. I mean, it was just a thrill.
I know that initial takeoff for me leaving the airport here at Daytona. Next thing I knew, we were over the ocean. I'm like, how did we get here so fast? I'm like, what in the world?
Well, Cleetus McFarland talked about him being a YouTube sensation, 4 million followers, was all excited about today, but his day ended early, and he's with Caitlin.
Yeah, there's been a lot of anticipation, obviously, with Cleetus in the field. I know this isn't how you wanted it to come to a close. What was your experience like as a whole?
Well, I was having the best day of my life. Ripping around Daytona like a bald eagle. I was flat out, you know, avoided a wreck, which was awesome. I thought I was the best driver to ever exist in that moment. And it's probably because my sleeves were cut off that I was able to pull off that maneuver, come down pit road. Then someone slammed into my rear left quarter, spun me out, lived through that, got some fresh tires, went back out there. I'm hot dogging into 1 and 2, and the car lost it in front of me, and I saw it, didn't have enough brakes to get slowed down before it, and tried to go around it, misread it, zigged instead of zagged when I should have zagged, and I zigged, and bam, blew the front end right off my hot rod.
I hate that for you. And before we came to this interview, you were watching that jet taking off. Have you ever seen anything like that? You seemed pretty impressed by it when you were just standing here.
Yeah, I'm the pilot of Consuela. You know what I mean? I got basically the baddest aircraft in the country, but that F-16 is pretty cool.
That's fair. All right, Garrett Mitchell, obviously. Cleetus, an early exit from the race. We hope he'll join us again, though, here in ARCA at some point.
Hey, we told you at the top of the show we had a lot of personalities in here.
So Consuela, the helicopter he's talking about, he went and did a lot of rescue stuff in Asheville in western North Carolina when Greg Biffle was flying around. And that helicopter, he had just picked up, can't remember what country he even found that thing in, and had brought it in to get it renovated a little bit, and immediately took it out to do some service and to help rescue people out of that disaster that happened.
Great personality, being funny there, but doing a lot of great things for Western North Carolina, as you mentioned. How about our own Fox Sports Cleetus?
He's 9 feet tall.
9 foot
Our
tall.
Cleetus is 9 feet tall.
And then got a few more viewers, but I think Cleetus McFarland's interview was pretty good.
127 million
Ripping
followers.
around Daytona like a bald eagle, he said.
Our Cleetus, 19 years old, Look at that, though. 6'6" for a race car driver.
Maybe
that's not normal.
Maybe he should just come up to the booth. I think he could add a lot of color to this broadcast after he gets done. Hey, there it is.
That is beautiful.
That's not a bald eagle.
No, it's not. It's beautiful. So much wildlife around here. We showed you Lake Lloyd in the infield here.
Have you caught any fish this week? Been down there fishing at all?
I have had no time.
A little bit of a mix, guys, up front. Some of these cars did not come to pit road as we take a look at Dale Sr.'s number 3.
That car ripped around like a bald eagle, too.
Davey Allison's number 28, but some different names up front here that elected not to come to pit road here.
Bryce Hageberg in the 06 up front. Brian Doza behind him, or alongside, I should say. Ryan Roulette.
It's a little dicey, Jamie, because you've got a lot of drivers who haven't seen the front yet. They don't know how their car is going to respond to that. They're on older tires. And you've got some drivers who have been leading this race that want to get back up there and get to the lead. Obviously, we have less cars on the track, so that momentum will be a little less. But I know for William Sawalich, for, you know, Lawless Allen, Isabella Robusto, they're going to want to get to the front because of that number we see on the screen. 21 caution laps. They don't want to be a part of that. We got to get back to the front where it's safe.
Yeah, we've had about 50 minutes of yellow and or red flag conditions. Less than 8 minutes of green flag racing. So come on, guys, we're pulling for you. Let's get some green flag laps in.
We were just showing that F-16 or whatever that guy drives, the 67 car. He is an Air Force pilot. He doesn't fly F-16s, but he's an active duty Air Force pilot, Ryan Roulette.
Ryan's funny. He can't ever tell us where he's going to be.
Exactly.
Are you racing next week? I can't say that.
Yeah. He cannot say where he is. Yeah. Good guy, though. Good guy.
I mean, we do have so many different personalities from such different backgrounds here.
Well, let's see who can get back to the front the quickest.
Yeah, and see whose strategy will work out here. Do you see Lawless Allen, the 4th car, the blue car on the inside? He led all the way up until this last round of pit stops. Mixed up the strategy a bit.
I think we're going to be 3 wide here momentarily, Trevor.
Already are.
Yeah. So Walsh is going to try to lead that 3rd lane. He's got some good pushers behind him.
And that wasn't by design. He never really pulled out a line, but Lawless Allen forced that middle pretty quickly, knowing he had help behind him with Jake Finch. You don't really make that move on your own. You do that when you know you're going to have help, but it's not going to work out well for the bottom. We see him breaking up already with only 4 or 5 cars at speed down there. The middle 2 lanes, or top lane and middle lane, kind of get that momentum.
A little bit of bump from Lawless Allen.
Scott Melton there leading that inside lane. Lawless Allen, you see Isabella Robusto, teammate 3rd in line in the middle.
Get down to that yellow line, Scott. Get down to that double yellow line.
Isabella doing a great job, though, on the inside, staying right on the bumper of her teammate.
You see William Sawalich doing a little side draft into the tri-oval. He's going to get that help from Isabella Robusto. She gets to his rear bumper to push him into turn 1. How about that? 1 lap, and all of our top 3 runners are in the top 4.
Little side draft again by Sawalich on Scott Melton. Isabella right behind him. There's Sawalich. You see him nose out in front of Scott Melton. Good push to the back of Scott Melton by Lawless Allen in that 20 car. Jake Finch is going to pull up now, 3rd in line on the bottom of the racetrack.
See the 68 wiggle a little bit with William Sawalich tied on his door. And if I'm Lawless Allen, William Sawalich, I'm saying, hey, look, there is no reason right now to push the issue. William doesn't even need to get the lead as far as passing the 68. If they stay side by side, he's still got control. But we saw Lawless Allen really pushing on that bumper, and William side drafting, which got that 68 out of shape a bit.
So we're working lap 33 of 80 right now. We will have a mid-race break at or around lap 40 where cars can come down, get fresh tires, fill it up with fuel, make some adjustments if needed.
See LeVar Scott now, that 6 car, beige and black, leading that outside line. Cole Raz, the 76 right behind him.
Hey, Elio Castroneves, who had a little bit of damage, fixed him up. Don't look now. He's coming forward, guys. 13th right now.
There he is.
In that lead pack as well.
Corey Day, the 77 on the outside. That's 77hendrickcars.com. Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports. You hear Castroneves have to back off the throttle.
And we talked about this earlier, Phil, that at 1.5 miles, you know, that damage would be significant. It'd be hard to keep up with those leaders. But here at Daytona, there's enough air being broken in front of you that you can run in the lead pack with a little bit of damage and still have a shot at this thing.
They worked the draft perfectly. William Sawalich to the lead for the first time today. Isabella Robusto right there, LeVar Scott.
Trevor, I was talking to Elio yesterday, and he said he was talking to Jimmy before he got on the racetrack the first time, and Jimmy says, as you well know, we spend so much time in the mirror here driving around this racetrack. And Jimmy said, you'll spend 90% of your time looking in the mirror. He said, I ran 12 laps and I never looked in the mirror once. I said, oh my gosh, I forgot to look in the mirror.
Such a different discipline. IndyCar, open wheel, very different from what Elio Castroneves is doing right now. Woo.
See that movement? Oh no, we're on the apron. See
Scott
if he can hang on to
Scott Melton was leading. He got squirrely on the bottom, then up top.
He caught Elio.
Elio
stayed off the wall. He's got that right front damage, and saw the splitter get some damage coming back on the apron.
When he came down on the apron, yeah, sure did. Probably more damage now than he had that initial time.
And I'm sure that bumper bar was already softened from going through the grass. We see it really pushed up now. He'll start to lose the nose more if they can't get that push back down.
Yeah. He'll be able to stay on the racetrack and get to pit road and make some repairs, but could be terminal for Scott Melton.
And we saw Melton stay out. That's one of those cars that was on older tires that maintained the lead for a little while, and obviously harder to drive on those worn tires.
So caution is out there for the 5th time here in the ARCA Menards Series. There's damage the right rear area for Elio Castroneves. LeVar Scott shown as the leader. William Sawalich up there.
Cole Rash doing a really nice job in that 76 car. Here's that 68 Scott Melton. You see him inside line.
Yeah, just pushes on Isabella, and as she moves, he tries to chase her rear bumper. And then right here is where it really goes long. Gets free in, goes down, clips the apron, and then from there the car's just really unloaded and out of control. Barely misses Jake Finch's left rear quarter, but catches Elio. Got to say that right, Jamie, right? Catches him in the right rear corner, sends him up to the outside wall. That's a bad feeling, Phil. Getting clipped in the right rear from the bottom of the racetrack at Daytona.
Lawless Allen had a close call there too. He avoided disaster. We've had 4 different leaders today. Lawless Allen leading 26 laps. He's shown in the 8th spot. We're under caution for the 5th time here at Daytona. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Jamie Little, Trevor Bayne, Phil Parsons with you in the booth. Caitlin Vinci and Amanda Busick covering all the action on pit road. Well, it has been an action-packed race so far. More cautions than actual racing. Hopefully that'll change here in the second half of the race. But we certainly have seen a lot. And Craig Bracken, we talked about him. We showed him getting help from his car. He has been transported to a local hospital for further evaluation. He was involved in that lap 18 crash. So wishing him a speedy recovery. And now we're under caution for the incident involving Scott Melton. A lot of damage on that race car. A couple others involved. Here's a look at it.
Look at the top of your screen. Scott Melton gets to wiggling and then gets loose. He had Lawless Allen right on his rear bumper. It's an amazing job by Lawless Allen avoiding that, as well as Jake Finch. Elio did all he could do to try to get down out of the way. Just got caught in that right rear quarter panel. Kept it out of the outside wall, though.
What did he say, Code Brown earlier?
Code Brown, that's another Code Brown,
version
I think.
2.0 right here.
Exactly.
I don't think I've heard a driver actually say that on the air.
Not on the air. They've said it a lot in their minds.
Yes. He's had a couple of those codes.
Scott owns an insurance agency. I don't know if they're going to cover the damage to that
I don't
car.
think these activities are covered, Phil.
No, he said, I think this is probably going to be
He's at fault.
Only start. Well, Michigan's a no-fault state. That's where Scott's from. So
got it.
Big hit for Elio there, but you saw Elio kept it off the wall somehow. Worked on his race car.
Look at Jake Finch just move up. I mean, 6 inches.
And Corey Day moving up to give Lawless Allen room to move up as well. And some of that is just, you just feel it, don't you, Trevor? It's not something you necessarily see. You hear a difference in pressure and air and sound.
And you're saying, I'm getting the heck out of the way. I don't know if this is enough, but I'm going as fast as I can.
That Wendy's burger has a big slash through it right now. Elio Castroneves has been through it, Caitlin.
He certainly has been, and the frustrations, I think, are starting to mount for him a little bit. When he was first involved in that incident, he came on the radio and said, just unbelievable, as crew chief Shane Huffman responded to him saying, we just can't seem to catch a break today, but they have brought it down to pit road several times for repairs, also right side tires as well. But Shane Huffman trying to keep Elio confident and in the game despite some of the setbacks they've had thus far.
Yeah, he is such an optimistic, positive person, and I'm sure at this point he's just like, what am I doing wrong?
Well, and Shane has the experience to know, hey, we still got a race car with 4 fenders kind of on it. We're still in this thing, Elio. Just get out there, take care of it the best you can, and get it to the finish.
We're awfully close to that mid-race break, but we have lined up double file. We will get another restart. I would guess that the ARCA officials will let us run a couple laps before they do throw that caution for the mid-race break, because they did not deem this the mid-race break, even though we were so close to lap 40.
LeVar Scott in the front row alongside William Sawalich in the 18. 76, Cole Raz been talking about what a great job he's done today. Isabella Robusto. The 48 of Jeff Schofield. That's your first 2 rows.
Yeah, we haven't talked a whole lot about Jeff Schofield, but doing a nice job, obviously avoiding all the carnage, running up in the top 5 now.
Corey Day, the HendrickCars.com driver in the 77 right there on the bottom of the track. Making some nice moves, keeping the car clean. We saw Kyle Larson on top of his pit box earlier, and Kyle just thinks this guy is the best prospect out there. So he's aligned himself with Hendrick Motorsports, and it's funny, he had a great story that when Jeff Gordon called his dad and said, hey, you know, we want to talk to you guys, we're interested in hiring him. He said, send me a picture. I want to know this is really Jeff Gordon. And he did. And
his dad was a racer. His dad was an accomplished racer out on the West Coast.
So exciting for the family.
How amazing that Jeff Gordon and Rick Hendrick, you know, give that much credibility to Kyle Larson to say, help us find the next talent. And Jeff has done that, obviously.
Absolutely. Back under green here as William Sawalich is out front. LeVar Scott to the outside. Side by side they go into turn 2.
Cole Raz, second car in line on the inside.
Again, we started this race with 40 cars. We're down to about maybe 20 that have no damage.
It's Jason Kitzmiller, that 97. Third in line on the inside. Corey Day, the blue and white 77. For Spire Motorsports.
Corey Day does have some damage on that left front. Lawless Allen, that baby blue car on the outside, he had dominated the early part of this race, trying to get his way back up there. He knows how good this car is.
Yeah, and there's just absolutely no reason to be pushing right now. If I'm a spotter or crew chief, I'm saying, guys, let's give it some space here. You're not going anywhere. We saw the 97 had that little wiggle off of turn 4, and Corey Day was so close, he couldn't even respond quick enough. But then you saw the 25 of Jake Finch almost get into him. It's that chain reaction that you got to look way ahead for and be on guard.
See a little bit of a gap back to that 27 of Tim Richmond. Remember 2-3 years ago, Jamie, he was in contention to win and ran out of fuel very late in this race.
I know he relives that probably every day of his life.
Exactly.
But every time he comes back here to Daytona, he knows in his heart that little team does have a chance. And that is the great thing about Daytona. The little teams can win races here. You just got to be smart. And like you say, Trevor, have a little luck on your side.
We saw that 2 years ago when Greg Van Alst went to Victory Lane, and he's one of the more emotional victory interviews that I've ever seen, and said, a short track guy like me is not supposed to win Daytona.
So great. We replay that over and over. It's just, that's what Daytona is. It's magical. It changes your life if you can say you won here, especially as you move up the ranks in NASCAR.
Again, we mentioned 80% of our drivers racing in the 3 national series had raced in the ARCA series. A great proving ground, and has been for years and years and years. That was what launched my brother's career, two-time ARCA champion back in the late 60s.
And that's why you see, you know, Elio Castroneves. Every year we have those personalities that come over to this series to learn so that they can race on Sunday eventually. That's everybody's dream. Elio will be in the Great American Race on Sunday, and because he wrecked in the duel, he fell back on that provisional from NASCAR, so he will actually be the 41st car in the race. But guys, because he did that, he doesn't get any prize money. So it is what it is, but you still get to race.
Yeah. Our biggest race of the year, the biggest purse of the year, and race for nothing, but that's how much they want to be here.
Well, and that, obviously for team owners, it's different, right? They operate off of that. But from a driver perspective, you're not even thinking about the winnings or what that is. When you look up and see your number on that pylon in the middle and it's at the top of the board, the last thing you're thinking about is how much money did I win? It's, I just won at Daytona, or you know, you had the opportunity to race here. And so for Elio to be able to come, and for Wendy's, the partner that's come on board, it's a big deal to just be able to be on TV, have their brand on there, and go racing.
Things staying status quo up front. LeVar Scott, one of the full-time drivers, had heartbreak last year, so close to winning, came up one spot short to his first ever win. Maybe today will be his day.
We're hearing from the ARCA officials that that mid-race break will be somewhere around lap 45. So within a couple laps, we will probably have the caution out for that mid-race break.
Tell you what, that 55 car on the outside is very strong with Isabella Robusto. Being able to maintain position with fewer cars, you know, you're always looking for the line that has the most cars, typically gets the most momentum, but she's been able to hang right there with that group of 4 on the outside.
Jeff Schofield behind Isabella, trying to get that energy, that momentum on the outside.
I was talking to LeVar Scott, our leader, down in the pits yesterday, and I said, man, this is your year. He had such a fantastic season last year, running full-time, second in points, rookie of the year, second points to his teammate Andres Perez de Lara. I said, man, this can be your year. And he said he's really excited and really feels good about it and doing an outstanding job today.
Andres.
Oh, no.
Isabella Robusto outside wall. She gets around Corey Day into her. Schofield goes around. Lawless Allen, her teammate.
Wow.
He's around.
And when we're within a lap, maybe 2 of a mid-race break, I'm not sure that maybe there was contact from the 48 of Schofield.
Like Jeff Schofield pushed the back bumper of Isabella, and that's where we see those cars move the most. They're the most unloaded down that backstretch where they're sitting flat, no banking, and just turns these cars around. So
and
hate
why
to
are
see
we pushing?
that.
Why
exactly.
are we pushing, Trevor?
Exactly. I mean, at this point, you know, as I said, if I'm a spotter crew chief, I'm saying do not get close to the rear bumper of another car until we're within a lap of the finish of this thing.
Not the way Isabella wanted to see her day. But perhaps they can get it fixed up here. Have to see how bad that damage truly is. Quite a bit there on the left side.
Yeah, right rear corner as well.
Yeah, for me, I kind of, you know, when you start getting the corners, the perimeter of the car is when you're in trouble. If you're around a wheel well, obviously something like that. But if it's mid-door, like we saw on the 55.
Like Elio. And
right,
like Elio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No big deal there. But that right rear was concerning on Isabella's car.
So we're under caution here for the 6th time as they clean up the carnage. We'll take a look at what happened.
Yeah, just offset to the right way too much and pushes on her right rear corner.
ARCA Menards Series racing from Daytona will continue after this. We welcome you back to the Chili's Ride the Dente 200. Well, it's been a ride, all right. There's been a lot of caution, a lot of wrecked race cars, but we have officially made it to the halfway point. See some cars coming down pit road. Let's now take a look at the Richmond mid-race report.
Chaos, mostly, is what the mid-race report is going to be.
No.
See there, 34 laps to go. Leader now, LeVar Scott. 5 different leaders, 9 lead changes, but right there, that bottom number, cautions, 6. That has just been tough for these drivers to get any kind of rhythm.
Well, and they weren't just like, hey, there's debris on the track. These have been big incidents every time.
See Isabella driving back to the garage area. They must have felt like there's too much damage to repair on pit road.
Looked like that rear end housing was knocked over pretty bad from that right rear hit.
We're somehow 3 wide on pit road for a moment.
We're under caution for this last incident with Isabella Robusto on the outside.
Watch behind her. She's the 55 car. The 48 of Schofield is going to get up there. Is she going to get a push from Lawless Allen? Maybe a little bit bump from, or Schofield did from Lawless Allen, kind of maybe pushed her into Isabella?
He did, and with all the young drivers that I work with this week, we talked about that. If you are behind someone, you've got to know the gap to the car in front of them. If the 20 is pushing the 48, he's got to be listening for that. You know, quarterback, he's on him, and you've got to back off that guy that you're pushing if they're to the bumper of the car in front of them. Otherwise, you get this chain reaction, and the 48's pretty much along for the ride at that point. He's being pushed. He's against the car in front of him. There's nowhere else to go. They offset that accordion effect, and then somebody's getting spit out.
Yeah, here the spotter has to look at least 2 cars ahead.
That's right.
They have to know what's in front of the car, in front of his car.
Isabella Robusto going for a Rookie of the Year. She's running full-time the ARCA Menards Series, so she's going to have to wait a few weeks for her next race as she is back in the garage. Under caution once again here at Daytona. When we come back, we'll drop the green flag for the second half of racing.
Tune in tomorrow as Chase Briscoe leads the field for the 67th running of the Daytona 500. Coverage of the Great American Race kicks off at 11:30 a.m. on Fox with a race scheduled for 1:30 p.m.
And finally, one more sleep before the Daytona 500. And that's what it's all about right there, the Harley J. Earl Trophy. Who will etch their name in history? It all comes down to tomorrow. Chase Briscoe starting on the pole in his first race with Joe Gibbs Racing. Coverage starts at 11:30 Eastern in the East. Of course, that's on Fox. So we'll cover all the storylines. We're going to have a special guest. Who rides in that?
Somebody way more important than I am, Jamie. I can tell you that.
Not Cleetus.
Good call, good call.
Got the beast here. President Trump coming in. The Daytona 500. Are you spending some time with him tomorrow?
Well, he'll be here tomorrow, and yes, I will be interviewing him once again. I did that back in 2020 when he was president the first time around.
Do you have your question, or are you like...
I don't yet. I'm just going to wing it. No,
winging it.
Kidding.
Okay, all right.
Trevor and I will think about it. Maybe
we can dial him up on our radio.
Come up with some good things, yes. But yes, he and the First Lady will both be here, I'm told. And, you know, last time he actually took a couple laps around the track before the race in the Beast. So I think I might even ask him that, what that's like, and if he's going to do it again.
That's a heavy car to put on 31 degrees of banking.
Imagine driving that thing around here.
It's a beast.
So we're excited. NASCAR moved everything up an hour, by the way, because there is impending rain tomorrow afternoon. So well done by all to just try to get ahead of it. So our coverage has shifted an hour early, and you won't want to miss all the stories as we get you ready for the Great American Race. But first, we got the ARCA Menards Series.
Re-rack them, Jamie. Here we go again.
You see it there, 25 drivers involved in wrecks. We had a field of 40 to start this thing.
Maybe we've hit the reset button at the halfway mark. What do you think, Phil?
Oh, I hope so. Great start by Sawalich, though.
William Sawalich on the outside.
He's going to jump over in front of LeVar Scott, get down to that double yellow line. Jake Finch now is the leader on the outside line, has Ryan Roulette, that blue and red car, behind him. Tim Richmond has done an amazing job avoiding some incidents. That last one especially, he lines up now in 4th spot. Jake Finch now in front of him in 3rd.
Jake Finch been very patient. Last year, this was his race, and it came down to the very end when he lost. And I know that hurt him pretty bad because he had such a great race car here and has a great one still today. So looking for some friends, get a little momentum.
Shannon Rush, who orchestrated his win at Talladega and this race here last year. Back calling his shots for Jake, and he will call the shots. Jake's going to run about a half a dozen races this year for Venturini Motorsports, and Shannon will be calling the shots. Remember, Shannon won 10 races with Jesse Love a couple years ago.
2 seasons ago, of course, Jesse Love has moved up. He used this series, what it's designed to do, and that's move up to one of the national levels of NASCAR.
Seems like they're pretty content to get single file here and chill out for a second, but I do see Jake Finch pushing on the back bumper there of Tim Richmond. Actually, reverse. Tim Richmond pushing on Jake Finch.
Stop pushing.
I'm waving my glove out the window.
Yeah, stop pushing.
Chill out.
Tim.
Guys,
We're single file.
Castroneves is the 8th car in line.
Yeah.
He's
never out of it.
How many?
Andy Jankowiak, we talked about him right behind him.
How many
Not out of this thing.
incidents has Elio been involved in?
Every single one. Every single
I think
one.
only 2, actually.
Yeah. I think he missed the one, the second one that Amber was in.
But he's digging.
But none of those
up that
were
car,
his
got it
fault either.
going.
He's just, been in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so,
and as Trevor mentioned, he can follow along. He can stay in the draft. Now, it may be tough for him to make any passes with that damage he has, especially to the front end. But he's doing an amazing job and staying with it.
Well, William Sawalich is the one guy the rest of this field does not want to be leading on the last lap here at Daytona. Such a talented young racer. He's done so much winning, Phil. We've called so many of his race wins, but he's never raced here because he wasn't old enough. Now he's 18, getting a lot of laps around here. Mentioned he finished 9th in the truck race last night. He's got another race coming up today, so.
You see that yellow car, number 06, that's Bryce Hageberg. He's a mechanical engineering student at North Dakota State University, and they're actually sponsoring him here. As you can see, ndsu.edu on the back of that car, and he's doing an amazing job here.
Is that like a scholarship, you think, Phil? It's like, hey, I'll put you on my race car if you let me come for free for a little while.
Yes, absolutely. You would think.
Do we dare say they've settled down just a bit?
I wouldn't say it yet.
Yeah, I'd be afraid to say it.
It's too late.
I'd be afraid to say it.
Yeah, but at this point, everybody should be pretty content to lock in, log laps, and Daytona's all about timing. You know this, Phil. I remember my first Daytona 500 here, and I was working with David Reagan at the time, and he obviously had a lot of experience and was so patient. And I was like, David, it's time to go. David, it's time to go. And he says, no, we're waiting. And that's when we could talk to each other on the radio. And so his patience actually paid off for me, but did a great job. And yeah, so you just want to log some laps here and try to get to the end.
What did David Pearson tell you? If you're going to have a chance to win this race, you're going to have to be on the racetrack on the last lap.
That's right.
These cars right here, obviously some of them have damage that we talked about with Andy J's car as well as Elio's, but they're staying in line, doing what they need to do, logging some laps, and we'll try to fight it out at the end.
Considering the wild ride that Elio Castroneves has been through in that 82 machine, it looks pretty darn good.
From here, Jamie, we're like a half mile away from him up here.
It has a lot to do with the wrap. There's a lot going on with Wendy's on that race car. But
you see that gap, though, underneath that balance. That certainly will hurt that car.
Look at the damage
and the right
there.
side force there. So for him, I'm trying to keep that splitter tucked up as close as I can. Obviously not pushing Phil, but being as close as I can to keep air off of it. And later in the race on old tires, that's when it's going to become a handful. We've already seen them all, that transition off the banking, and that's just going to pop the nose up, make it slide even worse on corner exit.
Butterbean doing a great job making his ARCA Menards Series debut. He's 5th in line. A lot of newbies to the series. Phil, you touched on that. We've lost some early in the race. Others doing a really nice job here. Butterbean will be full-time here. Working lap 56 of 80 from Daytona. Great to see these guys under green. Who will hang on and take home the victory? The ARCA Menards Series. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the World Center of Racing as the ARCA Menards Series continues. 21 laps to go here as William Sawalich continues to lead LeVar Scott. Well, we've talked about the number of cautions that we've had today. 6 for 29 laps. One guy involved.
Good golly.
Cleetus McFarland.
R.I.P. my door.
Yeah. That one didn't do you in, though, did it, Cleetus?
No. What's going on up here, guys?
Well, you hear him now.
Been pretty boring since I wrecked.
Something like that.
I'll tell you, your interview
show.
at the media center was all time, which is why our producer Jolly invited you up.
I was fired up, you know. These guys blowing me off the track. I get it. You know, I'm out there in the Kinetic 30, hauling tail like a bald eagle down this straight. You guys saw it. And so they took me out. You know, what am I supposed to do?
They didn't want you to win, did they?
Yeah, it was a tough break, you know. We were freaking ripping, locked in, bam, door off the car, you know. Here I am sliding in the infield. Got her fired back up, bombing down in the first and second top 470-800 RPM, and just made a split-second decision. Wasn't the right one. So after the third wreck, I got caught up in it. Not my fault.
I know you had a lot of fun up until that moment. Are we going to see you back in an ARCA car?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I had the best time of my life. I've never felt more freedom than ripping in a pack of 40 cars. It was amazing. Honestly, one of the most incredible experiences of my life. And I'm super bummed to be out. So I think I'm going to make a revisit to Dega. You know, get my hot rod fixed up.
I don't think Daigle can handle Cleetus McFarland.
And I'm going to Daigle.
What do you think?
Okay, you know, I'm going to cut my sleeves back even further, and I'll be there with the number 30.
What surprised you the most about being here at Daytona? I know you did the test earlier last month, whatever. What surprised you about it?
I would say what surprised me the most is the lack of control within the group. The amount of swerving going on was shocking.
Yeah, you can see it
right
here.
Just this shot right here.
Yeah.
These guys are probably the best, you know, left, and I'm not saying I was perfect by any
the best left.
but I'm looking.
And you're right, they're the best left.
Listen, I'm looking out my window at this person next to me. I'm like, brother, keep your wheels straight. What the hell are you doing? Like, we're swerving left and right. And what the heck are you doing? Sorry. I don't know if that word's allowed. Anyway, but a lot of swerving, and I think that was ultimately the demise of my race, was people just not keeping their steering wheel straight.
All right, Cleetus, when you wrecked, we had an onboard camera.
I've seen that.
You looked at the camera. I think we have a shot of it. And you weren't sure what it was that you said. You knew the camera was rolling.
Oh, yeah, they had it live streamed. I said, sorry, guys, because I heard there was like 50,000 people watching the in-car live stream. So I just wanted to say sorry to my fans. You know, I told them, I said, listen, people, I'm going to Daytona to destroy that infield with a burnout after I win. You know what I mean? I set high expectations. I was going for that infield. No, this one with the nice wrap. That sucker would have looked like Supercross when I was done with it if I won this race. But, you know, didn't go my way. So I said sorry to the boys at home watching, supporting me. And we'll be back for Dega.
Cleetus, we talked about you having 4 million followers. What can people find if they follow you and subscribe to your YouTube page?
Yeah, you type in Cleetus anywhere, you'll find the greatest automotive, sensational, building, ripping, shifting gears, letting a rip, tater chip type of content you could ever imagine. You type in Cleetus on any platform, it's coming up, and you're going to enjoy yourselves. That's all I got to say.
Hey, we've enjoyed watching you, your time here. Looking forward to Talladega if you make it work.
Yeah, Talladega. I just want to give a shout out to my boy Squirrel McNutt for coming out here supporting me, and looking forward to Dega.
Did you fly Consuelo down here?
Yeah, you can see it from right here.
Sideways, Tim Richmond goes around. Hang on to it. Jake Finch.
Two separate incidents there on that stack up.
Finch hard into the wall. A lot of contact for him. The caution is out for the 7th time.
7 cautions.
Too many.
That's tough, you know.
Big impact. Tim Richmond looks like he got some flat tires before he made impact, so he got stopped.
It looked like the car just got away from Tim. Not sure exactly whether there may have been some contact
I think it's
Jake.
just that stack up. To Cleetus's point here, everybody stacks up and then they start moving around, and then you get 3 or 4 separate incidents at one time.
Oh, that guy's got a Cleetus shirt on. Nice. When you watch Cup, they're just
two
so
totally separate
Totally
incidents.
separate, yeah.
At the same
without
time.
a doubt. Looks like LeVar Scott maybe was in the back pushing Jake Finch, and that's what turned Jake around.
One thing I was really impressed by is when you watch Cup, those guys are so tightly in line. It's shocking, you know, and it's tough to do that.
Jake Finch made it down to pit road, try to fix up his car, see if he can continue as we're under caution once again. More ARCA Menards Series action coming your way after this. Welcome back to the ARCA Menards Series. Ride the Dente 200. We're down to 14 laps to go. Let's now take a look at the General Tire featuring Kyle Petty.
Hey everyone, Kyle Petty here. If there's one thing that truly holds my heart, it's Daytona International Speedway. Did you know that back in 1979, I was just 18 when I won my very first ARCA race at the World Center of Racing? This season, I'm going to take a look back at some of the great moments in ARCA racing history. To kick things off, let's stay right here in Daytona. As we go back to 2010, Danica Patrick was already making headlines in open wheel racing when she decided to test her skills in stock cars. And suddenly, all eyes were on ARCA's season opener at Daytona. And she showed up to race, battling packed traffic, using the draft, and ran door to door with seasoned veterans of the series, before earning a top 10, proving she could hold her own in stock car racing. I'm Kyle Petty. Thanks again for joining me as General Tire delivers ARCA's greatest moments.
We always talk about ARCA Menards Series being a proving ground for drivers who are looking to move up in the NASCAR ladder, and Danica Patrick is a perfect example of that.
Well, and it's a good entry point for crossover, too. We got Cleetus McFarland here who's doing that, coming out of those Crown Vics, you know, into ARCA. But yeah. Ricky Carmichael, we saw there in that clip, driving the 4. Elio Castroneves coming over. So this is a great place to learn about stock cars and get a feel for it.
And that race that Kyle won here was his first ever race in anything.
What a moment for him. So we'll take a look once again at the reason why we're under caution here for the 7th time.
Watch Tim Richmond. That's the car in the middle, the 27 car. He's got Andy J.
Just got free.
Just got free.
Transition.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you know, here the wind makes such a difference. You get those gusts across turn 4 right at that transition, and you saw the 25 at the same time, so you just wonder if the gust kind of took right side air off the cars and they step out on you.
Watch the left side of your screen. That's the 25 of Jake Finch. That's going to get a little bit of a nudge from the 6 of LeVar Scott, and around Jake goes, but he's not quite as fortunate as Tim Richmond. He makes fairly significant contact with the inside safer barrier. I know how much this race means to Jake, especially at Jamie, after you talked about the heartbreak from last year, leading going into turn 3 on the last lap.
27
drivers involved in wrecks. Dang.
That would mean there's 13 drivers who have been scotch-free today.
So
Elio's up here in 5th with some damage. He said, y'all keep going. Last man standing.
You're saying there's a chance?
There's still a chance.
While we were talking to Cleetus, Elio jumped up and made it 3 wide on the top of the racetrack and made a move.
Better put that fire suit on and get back down there.
Brother, I would in a heartbeat. How many cars are we down to here?
About, well, 13 that are clean.
13 on the lead lap, yeah. And they're not all clean. They're not all clean,
about
but there's
16,
13.
17 that are still on 4 tires driving around.
Well, William Sawalich has done a great job. He continues to lead here alongside LeVar Scott on the outside. Butterbean up to 3rd. We showed a shot of one of his fans wearing a shirt in the mix. Jason Kitzmiller, Elio Castroneves.
Right now, 3 of our top 4 runners will be full-time this year in the ARCA Menards Series, all but Sawalich.
And now we've got William Sawalich, who had a lot of Toyota help early on his own island. 4 Chevrolets right behind him.
Green flag goes back in the air for William Sawalich. 12 laps to go here at Daytona.
So LeVar Scott dropped right in line behind William, knowing he's got a strong car.
Butterbean now is lined up behind LeVar Scott, 3rd in line on the inside. Then there's Elio, 4th in line on the inside with a nice push from Andy Jankoriak. How about Elio up on the top 5 here with all that damage? Cleetus, he was in about as many accidents as you were.
Yeah,
on, Phil.
He made it out a little better.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the whole front end of his car still.
He does. He does.
Andy J as well. He had a tremendous amount of damage. They were able to fix it up good enough. He's been working with Elio now for quite some time. Back there in the 7th spot, he's the one that has given us some of the best quotes out there.
Until you showed up.
Hey,
yes.
you know, that's what I'm here to do, spice things up for you guys.
Look at his headshot.
That's a clean headshot. With the chest hair showing,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give some credit to that guy.
That doesn't show the headband that he always wears either, Cleetus.
That's a good look.
Nice yellow rim sunglasses, though.
Andy J, pizza delivery man for I think 18 years in upstate New York. He uses that money to help fund his racing addiction, as he says. And they're actually on board as one of his sponsors.
He runs TQ quarter midgets in the wintertime indoors up in New Jersey, and he won the championship this year for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Elio Castroneves, on the other hand, a 4-time Indianapolis 500 winner. He's running Indy again this year. Great to have him in the field here, and we'll see him in the Great American Race tomorrow.
Bill, I said earlier, 10 to go is when things might pick up a bit. You know, hey, we'll keep it calm until about 10 to go. I don't know, man. We've kept it pretty.
We haven't been calm at all
until this point.
Yeah.
So we might run this race in reverse. Everybody's going to stay in line single file now that we're inside 10 to go.
Yeah.
What was your game plan, Cleetus? Were you just trying to get to the end and try to still be on the racetrack in position, maybe make something happen?
I met with the team this morning. We talked for a while, and our goal, you know, we set out with a plan. The plan was to win.
Yeah.
You know, but we didn't. You know, we got just caught up in those wrecks. Next plan, Talladega, still be to win.
Still be to win.
We saw William Sawalich get spit out there. I mentioned 4 or 5 Chevrolets right in his mirror. When LeVar Scott decided to pull out, they all went with him, and they're trying to
make a run.
Drop the 18 out with that lead pack.
Watch Elio try to push his teammate Butterbean Queen to the lead.
That's good racing now. We're too wide.
These two were able to work together. They had a test down here in early January. Elio getting comfortable with that, working with his teammate Butterbean. What a combo of teammates, by the way. Look at Elio on the move up to second, Butterbean Queen out front.
Yeah, and that's just a little bit of inexperience by the 28 getting that big of a lead, because watch this run they're going to get. You see 3 cars stacked up on that top. It's going to be hard to block both lanes here for the 28. He's got to hope if I just pull up in front of my teammate, he'll give me a break. But you want to manage that gap, right, Phil? You want to make sure you drag brake and don't
He's done a pretty good job of minimizing that gap now. Which lane is he going to stay with?
Yeah, I mean, if it's me, I'm going to the top with my teammate, knowing that he's going to work with me a little bit better there. He's going to try to block both of these lanes for a minute, though.
He's a good race car driver. Again, our Cars Tour champion from last year, so he is trying to manage both lanes.
8 laps to go here at Daytona. Cleetus McFarland, it's been fun getting to know you. Thanks for being up here in the booth with us. We'll be back for the conclusion of the ARCA Menards Series race from Daytona. Back at Daytona, 5 laps to go for the ARCA Menards Series. You didn't miss anything. Butterbean Queen leading this race. Elio Castroneves right behind him. LeVar Scott, Andy Jankowiak, William Sawalich, your top 5.
Amazing job by Elio Castroneves to fight back after all the damage he has. And Butterbean is really doing a nice job. He was managing both lanes. Then he got Elio clear of LeVar Scott, got him in behind him, doing an awesome job here.
Pinnacle Racing running 1-2 right now. Phil, Trevor, I mean, we saw them, how many wins last year? 6 total in the 28 car alone. I mean, Shane Huffman really has this team buttoned up, had high expectations for today. He's calling the shots for Elio, and just hats off to them.
Well, and when Shane earlier was saying, Elio, stay in it, we're still in this thing, he had to be thinking, you're crazy, man. Like, from the racing he comes from, if you get damaged, you're done. And he had to just think, I know you're cheerleading me, but there is no way. And here we find him in second. And on the outside row, Andy J., who we've talked about a bunch with damage, somehow these two guys are right at the front in the mix to win this race after a roller coaster of emotion for these drivers today.
And Jason Kitzmiller, second in line behind Andy Jankowiak. He always ends up in the front. We're always talking about him at these draft tracks. So he's trying to make a move. Is he trying to go 3 wide around Andy J? Yes, he does.
He realizes all the damage that Andy J has on his car. Feels like that's holding up that second lane. Cole Raz, that 76, is going to try to get up there and push him. Andy J now moves to the bottom.
Butterbean Queen out front. One prior ARCA start was at Daytona right here, 2019.
That was back when he was racing at Langley Field in Virginia. 3-time track champion there.
The Cars Tour late model tour champion last year. Now he's here in the ARCA Series running full time, and here he is leading at Daytona.
I think that second packet will have a hard time possibly keeping up with these lead 4 cars while they're running side by side like that.
Yeah, we saw the 48 of Jeff Schofield jump out of line there. We really need those cars to line up single file. I know it seems like they're jockeying for position right now, but they would all be better off just to single out, get in line. Even if they go one spot, then they have a chance to catch that lead group.
Just 2 to go, guys. 2 laps to go.
I keep seeing this gap here, Phil, setting back, it looks like, for LeVar Scott and William Sawalich, and I'm wondering if that's not on purpose to get that run to catch those lead 2 cars.
Jason Kitzmiller behind the 18 and William Sawalich. They're going to try to make something happen here. They have a lap and a half to do it. LeVar Scott up the track a bit.
Open.
William Sawalich makes the move. He's bringing Kitzmiller with him.
I think LeVar Scott moved up thinking he was going to get in front of William Sawalich. It was mistimed. Move Sawalich up to third. Just
White
one
flag.
to go. 1 to go.
White flag is in the air officially. Butterbean Queen leading Elio Castroneves here. Elio, what is he doing? Poking to the inside. Staying tucked up now behind his teammate.
William Sawalich able to drag him down with that side draft. He's going to have a big run to the 28 car here on the backstretch of Brandon Queen. Can he hold him off?
A lot of momentum coming from Sawalich.
No help though, Phil. That run's going to stall right at the back bumper.
Jason Kitzmiller falling off the back as they make their way around.
Derek Nealon, the spotter, great spotter. Kyle Busch's spotter for Butterbean.
Butterbean Queen, 27 years old, from Chesapeake, Virginia.
Big run for William Sawalich here if he can get
trying to block William Sawalich, and he does it. Butterbean wins it at Daytona. William Sawalich second, Jason Kitzmiller, LeVar Scott, Elio Castroneves unofficially 5th.
Good way. Oh, we're cracked.
And
Elio found another one.
After the checkered flag.
Wow.
That's
unbelievable.
3 or 4 incidents he was involved with right there at the end.
Finishes top 5 though after this day, but the roller coaster continues.
That's your 5th and 6th place cars right there in a pile.
Big celebration for Pinnacle Racing Group. Great effort.
Mark and Jerry Webb started this team a couple years ago. They told Shane Huffman, we're going to give you the tools to make a race team, and man, have they done it.
Steven Dawson celebrating with the team on the box. Elio's just got to be thinking, this is unbelievable. Says he's all right.
Said physically, yes. Emotionally right now, I'm tired.
Did you have fun? And he just laughs. That's great.
What a great attitude. He's just a breath of fresh air.
Now he'll take that knowledge, sit on it, talk to his engineers for tomorrow, and then it'll be totally different because he's back in a Cup car.
Different.
Hopefully it'll be totally different.
I mean, I think he'll be amazed at what the Cup guys can do, how close they can be without the mistakes. You know, obviously they still happen at times, but the intensity of a Cup race is just unbelievably different than anything else you could do here at Daytona.
Butterbean gets to burn it down. And a great day for him, not just to win at Daytona, but this sets the precedent for his season. He's full-time. We talked about that. Valuable points.
I think we have
trophy.
to mark him as a favorite. I think obviously he's going to have some competition. LeVar Scott's going to be really good. We talked about Isabella. Lawless Allen will also be full-time. Jason Kitzmiller. So we've got a nice crop of full-time drivers this year.
He just did such an unbelievable job the entire race. Look at how clean his race car is. I mean, I would say maybe there's a handful, maybe, that don't have any scratches, any damage on them.
If you look at the top 4, those were the 4 drivers who managed to miss all the crashes. I don't believe the 97 Kitzmiller, we saw him barely miss that early crash. William Sawalich was in front of all of those. LeVar Scott the same thing. So those 4 drivers, mission accomplished. They stayed out of trouble, and they were in the fight to win the thing at the end.
I think Cole Raz missed everything till after the race was over. Then he was involved in an accident.
Love seeing this. Got the American flag they're trying to put in his door. Maybe he'll do a victory lap with the flag. Nice burnout over the start-finish line. What a feeling it's got to be for Butterbean. Made 3 truck starts last year, finished 4th at Norks Wilkesboro. You would have thought he won the race. He had so many fans just cheering on their feet for him. They'll be happy after today. Certainly burning it down. I know there's a lot of water in that infield grass.
Amazing job by the track crew, though, to get this racetrack in shape after that rainstorm we had this morning.
8 cautions today for 33 laps. It was all about survival. You talked about it in the beginning, Trevor. Got to be there at the end to have a chance.
And he did it. He's going to get to celebrate. Think about the range of emotions right now. You have some drivers who were out by lap 2. Now you got Brendan Queen, who's celebrating his first win at Daytona International Speedway. Highlight of his career to this point.
Got to unhook the belts. What a scene right there. The smoke coming from the race car. The emotions he must be feeling.
This 28 group is used to seeing smoke pouring out of the race car in a good way.
We got Butterbean, we have Cleetus. What a day. It's like, somebody help me just get this helmet off. I want to celebrate. Get that flag.
You're going to take his head off,
I think he's in shock.
I got my hat and sunglasses. Got my hat and sunglasses.
Look at the
That's
mullet.
what he's worried about after winning. He got to get that hat and sunglasses.
I think we might need a comb, work on that mullet a little bit.
What a day in the booth up here, Phil. We got some personalities going on.
There he is. Butterbean Queen is your winner for the ARCA Menards Series race at Daytona. He's still unhooking himself. There he is. Amanda Busick is there.
Oh, and Jamie, and what it is a scene down here. He's going to go greet his team. There's the American flag. He was asking for that as he was still on the track. He told his team, I don't know what to do now. His team effectively told him, bring it back down to the start-finish line and burn it down. Brendan Queen, winner here at Daytona. Brendan, they say that Daytona owes no one. Why was she yours today?
Oh my Lord, B Nation, baby! We brought the mullet to the ARCA Series, baby. We're going to the Waffle House tonight, but all glory to God. Thank you for keeping us safe. I mean, I'm just a late model guy that worked hard to get this shot, and I didn't think this would be where the first win came, but we're going to take it. I got to thank the whole Staten family, bestrepair.net, everybody on board, that family that gave me this opportunity. Obviously, my parents did a lot when I was racing late models, but this group right here, they deserve this, baby. I know I had tough shoes to fill with Zilich taking over. Taking over from Zilich, but I hope this makes them happy that they signed me, and I hope this is the first of many. But I got to thank also Driven Sunglasses for coming on board. I don't know where they went, but I'll be wearing them in Victory Lane. ARCA Series, Menards, everybody involved, Pinnacle Racing, the whole Webb family. I don't know. We're going to the Waffle House and we're going to party it up and some chocolate milk.
Butterbean Queen, your winner at Daytona.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh, that was one of the best interviews I have heard.
We're going to have some chocolate milk now.
He's going to take that big trophy and put it right on the
He got to
table.
recover. Some waffles.
Fantastic interview. We'll be back to Daytona. Hear from more of our competitors from today's ARCA Menards Series race as Butterbean burns it down as the winner. And Butterbean Queen will be our third and final nominee for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race for this. Holding off William Sawalich to cross the finish line first and win his first ARCA Menards Series race at Daytona. Visit arcaracing.com on Monday at 3 Eastern to see who is crowned the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. And they're doing victory lane photos right here on the start-finish line. Great moment for this entire team. Let's hear from our second place finisher, William Sawalich. He's with Caitlin.
Thank you. Well, William Sawalich, the runner-up here in Daytona. First off, did you anticipate that race being as crazy as it was, and was there anything else you could do at the end?
Yeah, I definitely didn't anticipate it being that long. That was a pretty long time in the car, but it got me ready for tonight's race, and we had a fast Starkey Toyota Camry tonight, so can't thank the JGR guys enough. Just wish we had a little bit more there, just learning all I could.
Thanks for your time. William Sawalich still has work to do. We'll be running double duty, obviously, here in Daytona, guys.
Thank you, Caitlin. William Sawalich, by the way, will roll off fifth in the NASCAR Xfinity Series later today. There he is, Butterbean, celebrating best day of his life. We'll be back to wrap things up from Daytona.